Hey there, SNDL traders and investors. It's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, and interviews. Also home to the best MJ community. Today is Monday, November 13th. Hope you're doing awesome and hope you had a great weekend as well. In this video, we're going to be reviewing SNDL's Q3 2023 earnings that came out this morning. We're going to review them. I'll give my analysis and my thoughts and opinions. We'll also take a look at the chart and what to expect in terms of price action in the days, weeks, months ahead. They did have free cash flow and positive net cash for the quarter, and it was a great quarter really overall. And this is a stock that I do own in my portfolio, full disclosure, and this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment and informational purposes only. Before we get to it though, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe, all that good stuff. Take the bell, you'll be notified on any future videos or whenever I go live. Also, make sure to give us a follow over on X, which is previously Twitter. The handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. So this is directly from the SNDL website and the press release. SNDL reported third quarter 2023 financial and operational results and achieves positive net cash from operating activities and also free cash flow. So they did miss in terms of analyst estimates. They were expecting 266.1 million for revenue, came in at 237.6 million. And then they were forecasting 0.01 in terms of EPS. It actually came in at negative 0.08. So pretty big miss there in terms of revenue and EPS, but they did mention that there was going to be a buyback program of the stock. So I think that's what offset the loss or the miss. So if we take a look at the chart from the low of Friday, we were actually up from the low of Friday. We were up almost 20%. And again, I think that miss in terms of analyst estimates for revenue and EPS was offset by this buyback program news that came. So it was perfectly timed really with the downside that we saw. So go through here. I brought it up from the SEC's website, so condensed consolidated interim financial statements. And actually, before we go through that, I just want to read some key highlights here. So net cash provided by operating activities of 27.5 million. And everything in this report is listed in Canadian dollars unless otherwise stated. So 27.5 million in the third quarter of 2023 compared to 8.6 million in the third quarter of 2022. Positive free cash flow is 16.5 million in the third quarter of 2023 compared to negative 67.1 million in the third quarter of 2022. Their unrestricted cash stood at 202 million, up from 185.5 million on June 30th, 2023. And it was attributed to effective cash generation initiatives and operational efficiencies implemented throughout the quarter, particularly in working capital. So I already went over this. So liquor retail net revenue was 151.8 million. MJ retail was 75.5 million, which was an increase of 14.1% compared to the same quarter of the prior year. And then MJ operations net revenue of 21 million for the third quarter, or an increase of 77.4% compared to the quarter of the prior year, same quarter. Gross margin of 48.6 million in the third quarter 2023 compared to 50.3 million in the third quarter 2022, a 3.4% decrease driven by non-cash inventory impairments. So with some impairments there. Net loss of 21.8 million for the third quarter 2023 compared to a loss of 98.8 million for the third quarter 2022, an improvement of 77.9%, mainly driven by asset impairments recorded in 2022. Adjusted EBITDA of 16.1 million for the third quarter of 2023 compared to 18.3 million for the third quarter of 2022. And SNDL currently has 5 credit investments in the Sunstream portfolio following the monetization of one credit exposure for the third quarter of 2023. So there is some comments here from CEO Zach George. SNDL's positive net cash from operating activities and first quarter of free cash flow generation marks a pivotal milestone, reflecting our team's commitment to operational and financial excellence. So we'll go through. This is a really detailed report, so obviously not going to go over every single thing in here, but I encourage you to read it on your own time. It's definitely impressive. SNDL is a company, like I said, I hold in my portfolio. If you haven't seen my top 5 MJ holdings video or the video where I break down my entire MJ portfolio with percentages, I highly encourage you to check that out. But I've been adding SNDL on this monthly consolidation and on this pullback ever since the run up after the HHS Schedule 3 recommendation hype. And I will continue to add to my SNDL position. I'm very bullish on this company long term. And if you go through the management discussion and analysis of financial condition and results of operations, and really just dissect this report, you'll see there's a lot to like here, and there's no real other company like it, right? So it's big into retail, both alcohol and MJ, and then it has MJ operations as well. So in my opinion, there's no other company like it. It has a great moat, a competitive advantage, and I think there's going to be tons of winners, tons of losers, and I think SNDL is going to be one of those companies that makes it long term. And we know that the Nova MJ partnership keeps getting pushed out, so we'll see if that gets approval. But essentially, I really like what's happening there with Value Buds. And like I said, the company is definitely positioning itself for one of the market leaders. They also held a conference call and webcast at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, and I wasn't able to attend that. I had a bunch of stuff going on today with some of my rental properties and my Airbnb, but hopefully I can tune into that at some point soon on the replay. But if you did join that call, let me know in the comments below what was your main takeaway from the call. And then we'll just go through this here so you can see 237,595,000 net revenue for the quarter. And then net loss per common share attributable to owners of the company, basic and diluted, was negative 0.08. And if you just divide 21,784 by the amount of shares, so if we go down here and check out shares at the end of the period, balance end of period, issued an outstanding number of shares, so they have 260,489,850. If you divide that by, or if you take the loss divided by the amount of shares, that will give you the negative 0.08 EPS. So 21,784,000 divided by the shares, which are currently 260,489,850, that will give you 0.08 negative. So like I said, pretty big miss there in terms of analyst estimates, which were forecasting positive 0.01, and then revenue 266.1 million forecasted, came in at 237.6. So again, pretty big miss there in terms of both, but like I said, cushioned the blow when they announced the buyback program. So SNDL renews buyback program for up to 100 million Canadian in shares. SNDL's board has given the green light to renew a buyback program for up to 100 million Canadian dollars and 72.5 million USD of its outstanding shares from time to time. The liquor and MJ retailer in Canada, whose retail banners include Ace Liquor, Liquor Depot, and Value Buds, said it would buy up to about 13.1 million. So this definitely great news for the stock, and like I said, kind of cushioned that blow after they missed pretty big in terms of analyst estimates. But lots to like in that report, and obviously the company achieving positive net cash from operating activities and free cash flow is definitely a monumental and pivotal milestone. But like I said, lots to like here. I went through some of the management discussion and analysis, so the MD&A. I haven't gone through everything, full disclosure, yet, but I will continue to review this and cover SNDL in the future. And like I said, very bullish on SNDL long term. I do hold it in my portfolio, and I will be looking to add a ton more as well. I just did a video on Tilray, and I mentioned SNDL on that one as well. But you can see here, up about 20% from the low of Friday. And we have nice increasing bull volume here. We have key resistance there at 161. Today we hit 161, which was actually a double top. And then funny enough, Tilray actually double bottom at 161. So 161 double bottom for Tilray and 161 double top for SNDL. And we could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross on SNDL. And if we break above 161 double top, then that's going to confirm a daily uptrend. Then we'll look at the weekly time frame. We'll look to confirm a weekly uptrend, and realistically, on this move here, we could confirm a daily, weekly, and monthly uptrend all in one go. You can see here low, high, higher, low. Now we need the higher high to be in a monthly uptrend. So if we break 236 resistance, we will be in a monthly uptrend. And that was a nice entry there off $1.25 support on this monthly higher low forming after the run up of HHS Schedule 3 recommendation, basically pumped and dumped the entire move. But like I said, we had key support there at 125. We hit 131, came within 6 pennies. What an awesome opportunity to go long there. I was actually adding on that consolidation, but you could have even entered with a tight stop, say 119, 114, look to nail that bottom fish. And sure enough, off of that low, now up, like I said, about 25% off of the lows. So congrats to the bulls who did buy that dip. But like I said, monster trade opportunity. And even from current levels, if we just go back to monthly resistance, that's about a 50% move from here. And then we would confirm a monthly uptrend with a break of 236, like I said. And you can see here that monthly EMA 12 has been a brick wall. So if we can see a monthly candle close, which will be the first time, actually we did it here on the run up to February 2021 highs, and then the stock pulled back about 97%, almost 97%. And we closed above it there, but then we had that massive upper wick and bearish reversal candle. And realistically, that was the first time since we closed above it, since it established that monthly EMA 12 data. So we've only ever done it once in company history. So if we can see a monthly candle close over EMA 12, which is sitting at $1.97, I think this is gonna fly up to EMA 26, which would bring us up to about $4. And then in terms of the weekly time frame here, we are showing some signs of life on the stochastic. We just had a bull cross, and usually the stochastic is one of the main indicators that goes first. So it's usually a leading indicator. If you take a look at the price action, it started to come down. We lost the 10-week moving average. The stochastic was the clue. It crossed bearish first, and then the MACD. That's usually what happens. You see stochastic, then the loss of the 10-week moving average, then a MACD bull or bear cross. Now we're seeing the flip side, where we're seeing the stochastic cross bullish as the first indicator, as the first clue. Then we usually get above the 10-week moving average, which is very close, sitting at 166. We're at 160, so we're 6 pennies away. And then the MACD should cross bullish thereafter, and that could realistically happen any week now. So it's looking real good, almost all systems go type scenario. And we did close above the 50 weekly, and a lot of their names are starting to trend back to their 100 weekly moving average, and then ultimately their 200 weekly, which is just established on SNDL, but that would bring us up to around $2.85 for the 100 weekly, and then $5.31 for the 200 weekly. And then in terms of the daily time frame, we did have a golden cross with the 50 below the 200-day moving average, and they crossed. And in my opinion, this is just that final last shakeout before we see a multi-year bull market, potentially after a multi-year bear market ending. And then something that we wanted to see as well was weekly EMA 12 and 26 bull crosses. We got that on SNDL, we got that on Tilray, and like I said, we're just seeing that last capitulation and accumulation phase before a major breakout, in my opinion. But this could be the last time to add MJ before massive upside with tons of catalysts looming. So like I said, we're looking really good here in terms of the chart. And let me know in the comments below, are you looking to add more SNDL? Personally, like I said, I'm looking for tax loss harvesting and selling to continue into the end of the year. I believe the last day for that is December 27th, because the stocks take 3 days to settle. So you have until December 27th to tax loss harvest. And then into the new year, a lot of Canadians, myself included, will be adding to their tax-free savings accounts, their TFSA. I'll be looking to do that as I've maxed out my contribution room, and SNDL is going to be one of those names that I'm looking to add substantially to my TFSA. And then I'm going to be focusing on a lot of US names as well. But going into it there, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this report. If you were able to join the conference call, let me know your main takeaways from that. But always love hearing from you. It's Rod with Pow Group. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth. And let me know if you found this video helpful. If you did, like it, share it with your network. I would appreciate it. Have a great night. We'll see you again on the next video.